There's an element of mystery in this, though, that to me suggests maybe there's something more nefarious afoot in law enforcement. I mean, you talk about, for example, slavery. I mean, I think the British outlawed slavery, I want to say in 1830. And I mean, the British Navy was on it. I mean, like huge patrols, for example, on the east coast of Africa. And then you'd go into any congregation in Brooklyn or Boston, and there'd be abolitionists thundering away in the 1830s and 40s. I just don't hear anybody talking about this.
Yeah, Ron, since you're on the call, thank you. How often are you hearing this brought up as a topic on Capitol Hill?
Okay, well, let's face it. I was holding hearings on our open border. We, had testimony where they were selling kids for $81. The current vice president was sitting in those hearings, and they opened up the border and they made the problem far worse. As I'm listening to this, and it's just tragic, but it's nothing. Certainly, Capitol Hill hasn't heard, has not heard of before. I mean, we're fully well aware of this. Passed laws about this. But I mean, let's be very clear and be very frank. And I hate to be partisan this way, but on the left, there's a movement to sexualize children. There's a movement I would call the mutilation of young children, and it's being excused. And the open borders are being excused. I mean, I don't know how many times I've screamed, and people like Ted Cruz and others have screamed about, how do you think these young women pay off their human trafficking fee? It's through sex trafficking. It's through human trafficking. So we're screaming about it, but the complicit and the compliant and the corrupt media doesn't cover it. So again, listen, this is just infuriating to listen to this. It's nothing we haven't heard of. If from HSI, who's ever in charge of DHS, they could certainly put the resources behind this, but they're not.